guys, it's the second video of the online learning. Today we're gonna do chapter 10.2, which introduces arithmetic sequence and series, and we're gonna focus on arithmetic sequence today, and we'll do arithmetic series tomorrow. Okay, so if you can find nth term in an arithmetic sequence and arithmetic means, then you have mastered today's concept. If you have a textbook, it's page 599, so you can follow along some of the examples. Again, homework, I'm not assigning anything other than the Mathicon homework that is online, so make sure you do that, okay? Don't do it overnight because it's going to be a lot. All right, so let's talk about the new word arithmetic sequence. What is it? How does it work? So arithmetic sequence is a sequence, a list of numbers that has a common difference between the two consecutive terms, okay? So the word common difference, often noted D, okay, because difference. So basically, if you have a number, starting number, and if you have a common difference, if you keep adding that common difference, then you will get the sequence that is arithmetic. So let's look at the first example. Well, how do we know if it's arithmetic? Well, we have to find the difference between the two terms and see if that difference is constant, okay? Because the difference might be not constant, then, well, it's not arithmetic sequence. So how do you find the difference? Well, we do 187 minus 244. So basically, I subtracted 57. And let's see if I subtract 57 from 187, if I get the next number, which is 130. And it is true. So that means, yes, this is arithmetic sequence, and the common difference, D, is negative 57. Okay? Next one, you can see that this is increasing, right? So when you do, you have to do negative 98 minus negative 129. Okay, I think you have enough common sense that if you're getting a negative number, you know that you did something wrong, right? And let's see if I add add 31 to negative 98. If I get negative 67, then this sequence is also arithmetic, and which you do. Okay, so this one is, yes, arithmetic, common difference, 31. Okay, I hope that was simple enough. Let's go to the formula. So the explicit formula, as we talked about yesterday, is a function, right? So basically, if you know certain values, if you plug it in, you get the value you want. That's what explicit formula is, and this is explicit formula for arithmetic sequence. So it only works if you have a common difference, okay? All right, so certain variable that you need to realize, well, we've seen this one. A of n is the nth term, right? And then a of 1, that means it's a first term. And n, I had a hard time defining yesterday, but I guess one way to define it is a term position. And D stands for common difference, okay? So how can we come up with the recursive formula? Not that recursive formula is very useful, but any idea? One thing for sure is that you have to have a first term defined, right? So we need to know A1. And another, how to find nth term is that you take the previous term, and what do? You just add the common difference, right? And that's how you get the next term. So let's apply this in the actual problem here. It says find both an explicit formula and a recursive formula for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. So it tells me it's arithmetic, so we just need to find a common difference. So common difference is found by 23 minus 35, and I think that's negative 12. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, negative 12. Okay, so then let's do the recursive formula first because it's easy. A1 is 35. And how do I find an? Well, you do an minus 1 minus 12. Right? Because it keeps decreasing by 12. And that's the recursive formula. What about explicit formula? Well, we have to plug it into this guy right here. So an is 35 plus n minus 1 times negative 12. Well, this is not very simplified, is it? So let's simplify a little bit more. 35 plus, negative 12n plus 12. So it's 47 minus 12n. Now we have an explicit formula. Okay, so make sure you simplify all the way so you don't, you have just expression of n. Okay. All right, next. Now we will use arithmetic sequence formula to do this because right now I have some information, but we want to find a sub 38. That's what I want, right? Because it's a 38th term. A1 is negative 29 because it just means the first term, right? And we need to find a common difference, which can be found by negative 2 minus negative 29, which is plus 27, I think. Yeah. Okay. So then what was the formula? Well, AN is A1 plus n minus 1 times d. We have everything we need, right? Because we want to find a of 38. And so then n is 38. A1 is negative 29 plus 38 minus 1 times, 27. So just put it in the calculator. Negative 29 plus 37 times 27. That's a big number, 970. So if you know the formula, which you will memorize eventually, that you'll be able to find any term, okay, in an arithmetic sequence. Okay. It says, sorry, I had to write it out because equation function doesn't work on this whiteboard that I have. So first term, which is A1, is 75. And it says A38 is 56.5. And it says find D. And what was D? D was a common difference. So let's just plug it into our formula to see what we're missing. So A38 is basically our result. And then A1 plus N is known because it's 38. 38 minus 1 times D, because we don't know what D is, right? So it's just simple linear equation that you just solve for D. So we subtract 75, just use a calculator. And then you divide it by 37, right? Because 38 minus 1 divided by 37, negative 0.5. So it's negative 1/2 is my common difference. Easy enough? Let's see. One more concept that we have to learn today was something about arithmetic means, right? Alright. Last thing of today's lesson. So arithmetic means, it's kind of like a fancy way of saying that the missing terms, so between the two terms, right? So it's a non-consecutive terms that are missing of the sequence. So the setup goes like this. If it's asking for 6, make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, because you're looking for 6 numbers. And then the first number is 12.4, and the last number is negative 24.7. So we need to use the formula, but we need to be a little bit more clever about approaching this. Because the formula itself just gives me the nth term, right? So let's think about this. If this was A1, this is A2, and then this is A3, this is A4, A5, A6, A7, and this is A8. So negative 24.7 is the 8th term, meaning that I can use the formula that looks something like this. Plus 8 minus 1 times D. But we don't know what D is, right? But since we know all the other numbers, we can just plug it in and see what D is. Then we can find A2 through A7. Easy. Let's plug it in. Negative 24.7 is equal to 12.4 plus 7d. And then you subtract 12.4. Let's see if my brain is awake. I think, maybe. I'll check with the calculator, don't worry. 7d. Alright, so I do 24.7 plus 12.4 divided by 7. So d is negative 5.3 because I divided by 7, right? So we're not done because we now have to actually find each term that we are missing. But it's easy. You add the d that you found. So the second term is 7.1. And then you keep subtracting 5.3, 1.8, negative 3.5, negative 8.8, negative 14.1, negative 19.4. The last one, if you did it correctly, you should get negative 24.7, and I get that. So that's what arithmetic mean. Okay? Yeah, and that's it. Arithmetic sequence is actually quite simple because it's addition and subtraction. Series is basically adding up certain number of terms in the arithmetic sequence. And we're going to look at that tomorrow. And we're going to start by talking about Gauss, a mathematician who's known as a prince of mathematics. And there's a legend about him and how he found a quick tool to get arithmetic series. So he found the formula, basically. Okay, so that's it for today. Again, I'm not giving you a textbook homework yet because I really want you to do the Mathagon assignment. And hopefully as we go over the lessons more, that it will become easier and that the interactiveness of that website hopefully will make it more interesting than, again, just me talking. Bye!